Most of how long we live and how well we age is determined not by rare medical interventions or exotic supplements, but by what we consistently eat every single day. Over many years, the same pattern becomes obvious again and again. Decades of poor dietary choices almost always lead to the same outcomes: cardiovascular disease, strokes, type 2 diabetes, and a cascade of conditions that are largely preventable. My name is Alex, and for more than 10 years, I have worked with both conventional and alternative medicine. During that time, I've become deeply interested in the patterns behind longevity and maintaining real quality of life. In this video, I want to walk you through 15 simple foods I eat almost every week. Foods that, based on the evidence, do far more for long-term health than most popular biohacks. And at the end, I'll also point out one of the worst everyday foods that quietly makes up a large part of many people's diets without them even realizing it. Water isn't technically food, but this list wouldn't be complete without it. Chronic mild dehydration is incredibly common, especially as we get older. The thirst mechanism becomes less reliable with age, and by the time you feel thirsty, dehydration has already set in. The kidneys are particularly sensitive to this. Ongoing dehydration forces them to work harder to concentrate urine and maintain electrolyte balance. Over time, this accelerates the decline in kidney function, and once that function is lost, it doesn't come back. Dehydration also thickens the blood, increases strain on the heart, impairs cognitive performance, affects joints and muscles, and slows digestion. The key isn't extreme water intake, but consistency. Drinking small amounts regularly throughout the day is one of the simplest and most powerful ways to protect kidney health, metabolic function, and the aging process itself. This refers only to dark chocolate with at least 70% cocoa content. Cocoa is one of the richest dietary sources of polyphenols, particularly flavonoids. These compounds stimulate the production of nitric oxide in the lining of blood vessels. Nitric oxide helps blood vessels relax and widen, improving circulation and lowering blood pressure. Vascular flexibility is one of the most important markers of cardiovascular health as we age. Loss of that flexibility is directly linked to hypertension, heart attacks, and strokes. Quantity matters. A small portion, around 10 to 20 grams, is enough to get the benefits without excessive calories. The longevity benefit here comes from long-term vascular protection. Eggs have had a complicated reputation because of cholesterol, but modern research shows that for most people, dietary cholesterol has little effect on blood cholesterol levels. Inflammation and excess saturated and trans fats are far more important drivers. Eggs provide complete protein, meaning they contain all essential amino acids. This is critical for maintaining muscle mass as we age. They're also one of the best dietary sources of choline, which is essential for brain health and neurotransmitter function. Because eggs are highly satiating, they help stabilize blood sugar and reduce insulin spikes. From a longevity perspective, they support muscle, brain function, and metabolic stability. Cottage cheese is one of the most underrated foods. Its main advantage is protein density, a high protein content with relatively low fat. When eaten alongside carbohydrates, it slows glucose absorption and lowers the overall glycemic impact of a meal. As a fermented dairy product, it also supports gut health and is often easier to digest than regular dairy. Its calcium content supports bone health, while the protein helps preserve muscle mass. This combination of metabolic stability, bone support, and muscle preservation makes cottage cheese a valuable food for healthy aging. Although nuts are calorie-dense, they're extremely filling due to their combination of fats, protein, and fiber. Walnuts, in particular, are rich in plant-based omega-3 fatty acids. Regular nut consumption improves lipid profiles, reduces inflammation, and is consistently associated with lower all-cause mortality. Fiber supports gut health, while minerals help correct common deficiencies. When eaten in reasonable portions, the benefits clearly outweigh the calorie concerns. Seeds are nutritional powerhouses. Pumpkin seeds are rich in magnesium, a mineral involved in hundreds of enzymatic reactions, including blood pressure regulation and muscle function. Sunflower seeds provide vitamin E, selenium, and healthy fats. Their fiber feeds beneficial gut bacteria, leading to lower inflammation and improved insulin sensitivity. Because seeds are so easy to add to meals, they represent a low-effort habit with long-term health benefits. Beetroot is high in dietary nitrates, which the body converts into nitric oxide. This improves blood flow, lowers blood pressure, and enhances mitochondrial efficiency, how effectively cells produce energy. Beetroot also contains betalains, compounds with antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. Together, these effects support vascular health, energy metabolism, and protection against oxidative stress. Kefir differs from yogurt because it contains a wider range of beneficial bacteria due to its unique fermentation process. Regular consumption helps maintain gut microbiome diversity, which is linked to better immune and metabolic health. Fermentation reduces lactose content and produces bioactive peptides that positively affect blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar. As we age, preserving gut health becomes increasingly important, making kefir a valuable daily food. Kale is one of the most nutrient-dense leafy greens available. It provides polyphenols, vitamin K, and nitrates that support vascular and bone health. Regular consumption of leafy greens is associated with slower cognitive decline and reduced cardiovascular risk. The key isn't complexity, but consistency, finding a simple way to eat it regularly. Salmon is one of the best sources of omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA, which have powerful anti-inflammatory effects. These fats integrate into brain and heart cell membranes, improving their function. Eating fatty fish regularly is linked to a lower risk of cardiovascular events and slower cognitive decline. It's one of the most reliable dietary tools for protecting both heart and brain health. Blueberries are rich in anthocyanins, polyphenols that can cross the blood-brain barrier and reduce inflammation and oxidative stress in the brain. They're best eaten with protein and fat to prevent glucose spikes. Regular berry consumption is associated with slower age-related cognitive decline and additional cardiovascular protection. Moderate coffee consumption is consistently associated with lower all-cause mortality. The benefits come mainly from polyphenols, not caffeine. Even decaffeinated coffee shows protective effects. Coffee supports liver health, brain health, and metabolic function. For most people, 2 to 3 cups per day provides benefits without disrupting sleep or increasing anxiety. Mushrooms are low in calories but rich in fiber, B vitamins, and minerals. Their beta-glucans help regulate immune function, reducing the risk of chronic inflammation. They're also one of the few non-animal sources of vitamin D. This makes mushrooms a highly efficient, nutrient-dense food that supports long-term health. Sauerkraut combines probiotics with fiber. Fermentation increases nutrient absorption and supports a healthy gut microbiome. Regular consumption of fermented vegetables is linked to lower inflammation, improved metabolic health, and stronger immune function. Sauerkraut is affordable, easy to store, and easy to eat consistently. Extra virgin olive oil is one of the most studied foods for longevity. Its polyphenols protect the lining of blood vessels, reduce inflammation, and lower oxidative stress. High olive oil consumption is associated with lower risks of cardiovascular disease, neurodegenerative conditions, and overall mortality. The benefits depend on using true extra virgin olive oil, which retains these bioactive compounds. The worst everyday food. Soft sliced white bread is one of the most harmful everyday foods in modern diets. It's ultra-processed, low in fiber, and causes rapid spikes in blood sugar and insulin. The issue isn't a single slice, but repetition. When eaten daily, it crowds out nutrient-dense foods and contributes to insulin resistance, weight gain, and type 2 diabetes. Bread itself isn't the enemy, but soft white bread provides little nutrition at a high metabolic cost. Final thoughts and closing: longevity isn't about eating perfectly or finding a single magic food. It's about simple, repeatable habits and whole, single-ingredient foods you can eat for decades. These 15 foods aren't exotic or expensive. They consistently support vascular health, metabolism, brain function, and gut health. Over time, these choices compound and shape how active, independent, and capable you remain as you age. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.